What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another player rating show here on Back of the Net. And it's all smiles still. Another win, third win on the bounce. So it's all happy days. 2-0 win against Nottingham Forest and a really good first half, and then saw the game out with ease. So positive signs. We're up there in the automatic promotion spots. So everything's looking good at the moment. So let's hope we keep with that and keep progressing, because there's definitely been an improvement in performances and the results are coming with that. So it's great to see. In terms of player rating video, I want to say a big shout out to Owen from the weekend. He was great, as I'm sure you're all aware, and we got a nice little comment from Lewis Cook on the back of that. So I'll tell you what, whoever my guest is today, the pressure on them, the expectations are high. So let's see who we got. Who have we got today? Oh, we've got his dad, Kirk. So nice to see you, Kirk. Feeling the pressure?
I am feeling under pressure. Owen has made it no secret that he's been popular over the weekend with the Back of the Net subscribers and Lewis Cook. I'm going to point out now that I am reaching out to Lewis Cook from here on in. If I don't receive a tweet comment back, I'm going to be devastated. I need to even the household banter out. So Lewis, help me out.
Oh, good luck with that. Lewis, you know what you got to do, but I'm not going to hold it against you if you just stick with Owen as your favourite, because he is all our favourites, and this is a big moment for Kirk, really, to see if he can get back as the top Tovey. But to be honest with you, I don't fancy your chances, mate. Owen was brilliant, though. Big shout out to Owen again. Fantastic, mate.
I'm so proud of him. He spoke really well. I thought he was very informative, and I've got to save my own career here. So
yeah, no, definitely. And I'm not the first person to say I'm still not sure where he got it from, mate. But we'll see. We'll go into it, mate. And obviously started off with a keeper, Asmir Begovic. And to be fair, he was largely untroubled. I think I remember a decent save in the second half, but really he just kind of seemed to do his job pretty comfortably without having too much to do. What did you make of Asmir in goal?
Yeah, I mean, not too busy last night. I mean, I remember the Sammy Obi shot was probably the pick of what they had. But what I've been very surprised with and very impressed with is that Asmir Begovic has been a different player for us since he's came back into this new JT era. I'm seeing leadership skills that I never thought Begovic had. He conducts, he delegates that back four, he protects his 18-yard box. Very businesslike. Not glamorous, but I think he is going to be a very good addition for us this season, and I thought it was a solid 7 last night for him.
Yeah, totally agree, mate. And I think that's a good point. I think when he kind of come out of the side, obviously a while ago now, it was clear that it was just kind of a confidence thing. Like, he had a few bad games, and that happens with keepers especially. And now you're seeing the reverse of that. JT's given him that kind of, right, you've got the number 1 jersey, and now he's just, the confidence in him is amazing. And when I spoke to Jason, if you weren't aware, when I had a chat with JT, he did mention that leadership thing, and I thought that was key. That's not something I would look at with him. He's clearly experienced, but he's really shown them leadership skills, and we've got quite a lot of young players, so that's been really key as well. In a right back, we obviously had Smithy. Stacey didn't surprise me really, because I remember him taking that knock in the game at the weekend, so he's played a lot of minutes for us. So Smithy was back in on his favoured side. What did you make of Smithy?
Yeah, I mean, I thought he did okay. I think Smithy's in a predicament with his career at the moment, because I think Stacey's really taken that position to the next level, almost like a young Smith. And it looks like that automatic place that Smith always used to have is not guaranteed anymore. And I don't think he done anything wrong yesterday. I think everyone played well, but I didn't see the Smith that we know, who sort of bombs on, and I think he had a few crosses yesterday that ended up going behind the goal. So he played his position well. There are some high scores to come because of how well we played yesterday, but I'm going to give Smith a 6 for last night. Yeah,
I can't disagree too much there, Kurt. Like you say, I agree. I thought in a good performance, he done his job. Do you know what I mean? And I don't know whether it's Smithy, because he definitely hasn't hit the heights he has before, or if it's maybe now we've gone to that 4 at the back, has he been kind of told not to be a little bit more conservative? I'm not sure, but I agree with you. And I'm a big Smithy fan, but at the moment, there's not many supporters out there that if you only have one right back and they're both fit, I think everyone would go with Stacey at the moment, and you can't argue with that. It's whether he gets that left back spot, and I'm going to go straight over to the left just because we're talking about it. And obviously it was Lloyd Kelly. Diego, who has been quite consistent, had a bad performance at the weekend. Lloyd comes straight in. What did you make of Lloyd at left back?
Yeah, and I mean, after his performance in the second half, which I didn't see when that change was made, I was a bit confused by it. But JT got it right. Lloyd Kelly got an assist, and we done well from there on Saturday. So it was obvious to play him back in that role again last night. The thing is, Lloyd Kelly probably, I don't know, but I assume his preferred position long term will probably be centre back. But he looks more comfortable at the moment the way we're playing in that left back position. Again, I wouldn't say he did anything special last night. He just did his job well. The only thing I'd sort of criticise Lloyd Kelly with at the moment is I think sometimes he can be very passive and very slow with the ball at his feet. And I would like a little bit more urgency from him in that respect. But again, I would give him a 6. Not that he'd done anything wrong, but a 6 again.
Yeah, no, like I say, I agree again. I'm sure we'll get into some higher ratings, but I think the fullbacks were two that just kind of done their job but didn't stand out. But yeah, it will be interesting because now we're getting onto the centre halves, and Lloyd Kelly, you probably argue at the start of the season, you thought maybe he's our most complete centre half. But as a partnerships go, Meps and Cookie, I mean, obviously they come on and kept a clean sheet when they come on in the second half last game, clean sheet again, and I think Meps don't get the credit he deserves because I thought he was brilliant last night. What did you think?
Yeah, I thought he'd done his job very well, and I think he just quietly goes about his business. I mean, he came on Saturday, and you would never almost have known that he had come on, but we were so solid once he came on that he played a part. I think since the game in the Cardiff game where he gave the ball away for the equaliser, he's not really made too many mistakes from there. And I think Mepham has got a mistake in him, like a lot of centre-backs. Steve Kirk's got mistakes in him. But I think Mepham is really growing now, and we're starting to see what probably Eddie saw when he purchased him. And I would give him a 7 for last night. I think he did very well.
Yeah, and I think Meps is almost, don't get me wrong, you don't want anyone to make mistakes, but I think it's almost one of them things where he makes the mistake against Cardiff and we got punished because they scored. There's been a few times this season where obviously Cookie, Kelly have given the ball away in similar areas, but they haven't scored, so it doesn't get highlighted. I think that's been a bit of a thing. But yeah, I do like Meps, and you bang on. He goes about his business just really well. And I think that was something from the Reading game that obviously we scored 4 in the second half, so it was all about that offensive play. But that first half, I thought that Lucas Jow almost bullied us a little bit. And when Meps come on, didn't lose a header. Do you know what I mean? And I think, yeah, at the moment, I think that's the partnership. And obviously, big shout out to his partner, Steve Kirk. Hit a nice milestone last night. And the captain, the leader, another solid performance from Cookie, wasn't it?
I mean, he's been awesome for us, hasn't he? I mean, I even feel sorry for him that he got sent off against Sheffield Wednesday. But, you know, apart from the only mistake he made on Saturday, he's been absolutely brilliant for us and an absolute leader in a team that we probably look at that we initially think doesn't have a lot of leaders in them. You know, he has been brilliant. He's solid. He's just blocks on the line, and again last night he just commands that back four and he dictates from the back, and he's going to be a big player for us, and I would give him a 7 as well for last night.
Yeah, agree totally. Do you think, Kirk, just without thinking too much into it, in the Championship, would you swap Steve Cook for any centre half in the Championship?
No, I don't think so. And I think there are times that he struggled last year, you know, and some of the split second mistakes he was making were just almost back to League One days when he seemed to get punished every time he made a mistake in his early time with us. But, you know, I think this league now is so comfortable for him that he has got to be up there with, I'm trying to think of other teams that have got centre backs. I mean, I'm looking at the lad from Burnley that used to play at Borough that's now at Norwich. I can't even think of the name, but
yeah, I can't think.
Yeah, but you know that he's got experience in the Championship, and he's dropped down back to play for Norwich. But he's got to be up there with one of the most trustworthy centre backs in this league at the moment.
Yeah, definitely.
And he's just been awesome for us. If that name comes to me, I'll let you know.
Yeah, that's really annoying me.
I've got all the clubs.
Yeah. Because I was thinking, there's Fry. Is he still at Borough? Dale Fry. He was a youngster that was supposed to be something big. I think he played for the 21s, but I haven't heard much about him for a while. And obviously Godfrey went to Everton, didn't he?
Yes.
So I'm guessing this lad's kind of.
And Gibson.
Gibson, yeah. He was at Borough when we got promoted, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he went to Burnley, didn't he?
Yeah, of course he did. Yeah. But yeah, I think also that experience Steve Cook had in the Premier League, like you said, now he's dropped back down. He makes it look easy. because he's had that experience in the Premiership. So yeah, love Cookie. To the other Cookie, Owen's mate Lewis, didn't get his screamer of a goal, but I'll tell you what, I mentioned it I think to Owen on the weekend. With every game, it's just he's making it look more easy. He's getting involved in the game even more. This is the Lewis Cook we knew we got, and the injuries have really infected him. But he's been given that kind of responsibility from JT. You're the main man, and I mean, what did you think? I thought Lewis was brilliant again.
I feel that Lewis is rolling back the years. It's almost like back to when we first bought him, when he broke into the team, and he's almost got over that long-term injury that he had, because I think that affected him on his return. I almost feel that as a team, it depends what Lewis Cook turns up in, what we're going to get from the rest of the squad. The last 2 or 3 games, starting from probably Birmingham, the first goal, his interception, his passion, his drive. Again, last night, his urgency to win the ball from minute one, his aggression. You know, this is a bit of a weird thing to say, but I look like, if I go out to my car and I got a flat battery, I don't get very far, okay? I feel like we need a fully charged battery in Lewis Cook to get the rest of the components around him going. And a bit of a weird thing to say, but that's how I look at it. And even from his passing now, I felt like the last year or so, he'd fallen into a sermon-like way of playing where it was very predictable. But now he's now looking for that decisive, taking 3 players out of a game, passing through the lines. And he's doing it regularly now with consistency, which, as I think, has been lost since he came back from that long-term injury. So a big player, a solid, massive number 9 again for him last night. So
yeah, definitely. It's just, I think there was one point in the game where he just got the ball and literally just drove past about 3 before making his pass, just made it look so easy. And I think it's difficult when you've had that long-term injury. It's hard, and in the Premier League, where obviously we weren't getting the results either, he was coming in and out of the side. And I think now, once you've had that long-term injury, if you can get back and get regularly playing, which he's now getting, do you know what I mean? You develop that consistency by playing week in week. It doesn't do you any good coming in and out all the time. And I think we're reaping the rewards, because, I mean, we don't even need to get into it, but I just said about Steve Cook, there's not a midfielder in the league that I'd probably change for Lewis Cook, to be honest. And probably even his partner as well. I'm just trying to find his name, my man. Jefferson Lerma, another player that, a bit like what we said about Mets, I just think he just goes about his job. And nice to see him. I think it was about 75 minutes or something we managed to take him off as well. I was almost surprised that he's started the last 2 after being away on international. Whether this kind of new sub rule and having 9 subs and being able to change it a bit easier, and no international break till March might help him. But what did you think of Super Jeff?
And do you know what? With a decent, fully charged battery, you need a good engine. And that's what you get with Jeff Lerma. And I said it last night on the free-for-all. I think there's 3 or 4 players in this team that we rely on to get the drive going through the rest of the team. And Jefferson Lerma and Lewis Cook are pinnacle, pivotal to that. And again, I can't specifically pick out any moment last night where he blew me away, but he just goes about his business, winning balls, interceptions. Again, Jefferson Lerma looks to play those forward passes, which I like to see. He tried a few diagonals to Danjuma last night. They don't always come off, but they're not always going to come off, but he's trying, and I can always appreciate that. And to have, did I think Lerma would be here at the start of the season? Never in a million years. And I think that we're so lucky to have him, and he's going to be a big player for us. So, an 8 though, just shy of Lewis, an 8.
Yeah, no, I agree. He's and I think both of them as a partnership, they're really complementing each other, and you're really seeing a good pair in there. I remember, I think it was the season we come 9th before Lewis got injured, or was it the season after? I can't remember. Whenever Jeff come in, they had a spell where them 2 were together, and you thought, oh, this looks like the partnership going forward. And then Lewis got a few injuries, and we had to change it. But it's a hell of a pairing, and there's definitely not a better pairing.
I mean, it's going to be a difficult spell for JT now to manage this, because that pairing, I think, is really important for us. But in a month where there's a ridiculous amount of games, you don't want to break that partnership up too much. But he's going to have to. But we're going to have to. He's going to have to manage that, and it'll be interesting to see. Yeah,
no, definitely, I agree, because it's going to be, like you say, it's going to be so. If you're the manager, you think, well, I can't drop one of them. But like you say, with the amount of games, it's more beneficial to leave one out for one than potentially lose them for 3 or 4 to get a knock. So, yeah, I think we know we've got a good understudy in Gosling, someone that can come in and do a job for the odd game. So I think we will get away with it. Hasn't turned into a bad footballer. He just doesn't give you potentially what either of them do. But be interesting to see. And kind of in front of them, who was the man who got the goals? He got the numbers last night. He was the one that, we'll look at. He got the 2 goals for us. And Junior kind of playing in a bit of a new role for him. I'm quite enjoying it. And he's another player that with his injuries, it's good to see him getting back-to-back games and things like that. What did you make of Junior as well as his goals last night?
Yeah, I think Junior can blow hot and cold. I think he had the bit between his teeth last night, and when he's got that ambition, that he is almost one of our best players, and he's had that in the past for us, and he's won us a lot of football matches with that ambition. He's got his points against Everton and Man United in previous seasons, but he was brilliant last night. His direct attacking runs into space. If people were to watch the match back, was very impressive. His composure with the ball, and if you look at the goal he scored, especially the first one, everyone can admire the Brooks pass, but if you take a look at Junior Stanislas's run, which he makes 5 yards inside his own half to make that direct attacking run, he doesn't stop at any point. He just makes it straight away. Then he needs Brooks to see the pass, which he does. Then when the ball reaches him, he has the composure to just bring it on his chest and put it away. A lot of players will just snatch at it. And then penalties, you're always confident he's going to score a penalty. So a very, very good game for Junior last night. Brilliant. Number 9 for me.
Yeah, I think he's got it with the brace as well. But yeah, like I say, and in that role, I'm liking, you alluded to it there, I'm liking these runs into the box, and he's really getting into space, like you say, with that movement off the ball is really good. That off the ball movement has really impressed me in that role from him. So yeah, liking what I see from Junior. Kind of on that right side was Brooks here. I mean, I'm going to mention it again, but you wouldn't swap him for another player in the division. I mean, when he's on it, unbelievable. He was a magician last night, wasn't he?
Yeah, and he's rolling back the times again. It feels like he's recovered from that injury, and he's playing with no fear. Last night, every time he picked up the ball, he wanted to turn out of space, move into space. He was looking for progressive passing, looking for Solanki, looking for 1-2s. And there is no better player in this league when David Brooks is playing like that. I don't think we've got any concerns with losing him this season. I know there's a lot of concerns last night. I think he's in a good place. And I think if we're going to look in a good position to get promoted, I don't think we've got any problems. He's getting assists on the board now. He got an assist on Saturday. He got an assist again last night. And that pass is something he can do. What we've got to appreciate with David Brooks is he will give the ball away because he's trying to make those decisive, direct balls forward through players, through defenders. And, and a lot of people go, oh, he was sloppy with the ball, but he is going to do that. And that's the type of player he is. But when they come off, wow. I mean, it's just amazing to see.
Definitely. What are you giving him?
A 9.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Definitely, he was magical last night at times, and I mentioned that as well. I said, the type of play you get, if you want to get all that from him, you are occasionally going to lose the ball, But I'll tell you what, he's a joy to watch. Sometimes you just sit back and watch him. He's one of them. Arnie on the other side, as you say, he's kind of been one of them players that's pulled out a bit of magic for us. What did you think of Arnie last night?
Yeah, because I think Arnie can sort of play in spells, like you say, and he was doing his tricks again last night. But when they come off, you're just in awe of it. You're like, wow. I mean,
there was that dummy, wasn't there?
Oh, he did a dummy, and he just done the defender. And then, in fairness, he probably is a bit disappointed he doesn't score the goal at the end of it. When it doesn't come off, we're frustrated because we're like, oh, just keep it basic. Just do a 1-2 with someone like Lerma and just do the defender like that. So it's one of those that, if it comes off, it's brilliant. If it doesn't come off, you're like, oh, just do stuff basic. But he is a big player for us. And he is one of those players that, if he's got his right boots on, because sometimes I find he can end up falling on the floor and stuff like that. But when he's got his right boots on, like he did last night, he can win a game for us at any point. And he's one of those players that he can be poor for 75 minutes. But you just keep him on the pitch because he'll just score a 30-yard screamer. Again, I think his movement last night, he probably disappointed he didn't score because we probably should have gone in more than 1-0 up at half-time. But I'll give him an 8. It was a steady game for him. I mean, actually, a Forest fan was on Twitter last night saying that let's utilise Danjuma's side because he doesn't defend. And I made a comment back saying we don't want him to defend. That's the reason why we've got Lerma and Lewis Cook in there, is to cover that space when we're defending. We want Danjuma receiving the ball outside of, in their half. And that's where he's going to be effective. I think last year he was receiving it on the back foot too deep, and we weren't seeing the best of him.
No, he is, like you say, he's one of them players. Even if he's not having a good game, I always think if you don't want to take him off, because he's one of them that can just do something out of nothing. And we've got a few of them now, which is a great weapon to have. And I was desperate for him to score when I knew I had you on. But big Dom Solanki leading the line, future Golden Boot winner of the division. What did you make of Dom last night?
Yeah, brilliant. Again, his movement. Actually, if you look at the first goal, we talked about Stanislas's run from his own half. If you watch Dom's movement, he makes a run towards Brook, which takes a defender with him, which creates that space for Stanislas. So, for the fans' point of view, when you're looking at Brooks and going, what a pass, look at everything else that goes on around that to make that goal happen. And again, that is what Dom gives you. The penalty was clever. He knew what he was doing. Some might say it was soft. But that's, how many soft penalties did we win with Ryan Fraser? So, Dom's a very good player. He, like you say, Tom, I agree with you that we are a better side with him in it. October 2015 was the last time Dom Solanki scored 2 games in a row. And that's what I've questioned with Dom is when he scores, I then want him to go on a little run. And he's only ever done that once in his senior career for Vitesse and Arnhem, I think you call him. Yeah. So, that's what I'm looking for Dom, is to score on Saturday, then score on Tuesday. But he still gives us so much more than goals. Yeah. And an 8.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And yeah, like you say, obviously we have a bit of banter about Dom, but I totally agree. It's one of the things I'd love him to add goals to his game, because I just think he's an intelligent footballer. He's such an intelligent footballer. He makes everyone in and around him better. But yeah, I'm just desperate for him to go on that little run now, especially after he got a couple. I don't know if you saw Junior after the game, but he said he was tempted to give the ball to Dom. There was talk for the penalty, but especially with him winning it and stuff like that. But he said, I want to get a few goals as well. But yeah, I think Dom, like you say, was a bit soft, but he should have had another penalty in my opinion as well. And that was even more. It was one of them where I thought, it was right at the end of the game. If we weren't 2-0 up, I reckon the ref's given that. Do you know what I mean? He thinks they ain't going to moan about it anyway because they've won the game.
No, that was more of a pen. That was more of a pen than the other one. I agree.
Yeah, I thought so as well. What order did they come on? I think Goz was the first one that come on, wasn't he? He come on for Brooksy, and we kind of temporarily moved Junior to the right and brought Goz in. What did you think when Goz come on?
Yeah, you know what you get with Dan Gosling. He'll run down balls. He'll be organised, and he'll obviously get goals for us at times. I mean, Gosling will probably be frustrated off the back of scoring at Coventry and not really doing anything wrong. That he's had limited game time, but due to the fact he's competing with 2 midfielders that are just in form, and that's the way it goes. But there's no doubt we will see more of Dan Gosling this month. And I thought he came on. It's difficult to give him anything more than a 6, in my opinion. But I am a big fan of Gozza.
Yeah, and I think, like you say, he's going to be. He's not going to be the same as your Lermas or your Lewis Cooks. But if we're going to get promoted this season, at the end of the season, we'll be saying how key a member of the squad he was. He'll come in and out of the team and be a real vital member to that. Like you say, it's going to be difficult to rate them, but we'll just go into the other two. Diego Rico, he come on for us just near the end for us to make it into a 3, didn't he? And come on as that wing back. What did you think of Diego?
Yeah, and I think that was a very good decision by JT, because, Rico probably would, footballers are their own, harsh critics, and he'll be disappointed with his performance on Saturday. And I think to just completely leave him out wouldn't have done him any good. And it was a great opportunity at 2-0 down late in the game to bring him on and say, look, you had a bad game, but we still have faith in you and we still think a lot of you. And I thought that was brilliant from JT, actually. That was man management. That wasn't about football. That was about mentally keeping Rico in the right place. I'm going to give Rico a 6 again, because it's hard to give him anything more. And I don't want to be too harsh, because I felt like Owen was really harsh on Saturday. No, Owen gave him the right score for Saturday.
Oh, he just had one of them games, didn't he? It was one of them games where after the first minute of the weekend, I think he made an awful tackle and he just never recovered, and he was just having one, as they say. And JT, like you say, he's managed him really well, and that's a good point. Game was won, bring him on. He's going to do a job for you. So, I'm always happy with Diego. Like I say, I just hope it was just one of them games, really, because he's been relatively consistent other than that. And probably going to go for the same rating, because he didn't really. But nice to see Roro come on for a little cameo as well.
Yeah, and do you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if we see Roro start on Saturday, because because I think Rotherham's an opportunity to do that.
Mm.
I also think that we've got to be careful with Junior Stanislas, because we don't need to go over what his career has been like with injuries. And I actually think Junior Stanislas is an easy swap for Roro, and you could potentially bring Brooks into the middle and play Roro in Brooks's position. So I'm quietly confident that we might see Roro start on Saturday. And when he does come on, he's active. I still think he may be a bit lightweight, but he's young, and he has.
He's raw, isn't he? Raw
he's raw, and there's time for him to build. But he's definitely got talent. He likes a bit of trickery. He's a bit like Stanislas, really. But yeah, I'm going to give him a 6.
Yeah.
But I would like to see him start, and I would like to see him have a little bit of a run in the team. And I think Stanislas is the obvious swap.
Yeah, I thought that. I mean, Stanislas's brace is going to make it it's going to make it hard for JT. But like you say, with the injury, I was kind of thinking, I was agreeing with you. I thought we might see him at the weekend, but I was thinking maybe for Arnie, and I was thinking maybe because then he doesn't have to change things around too much, just be like a like for like. But yeah, it'd be interesting. But I was thinking for that because Arnie's someone that you can bring off the bench. The thing is, we've got Brooksy, Stanislas, and Danjuma have all got that injury worrying them, so that's going to be key for JT, how he's going to manage everyone really. In this busy period, and I can't wait to give you this one. Our gaffer, the man that's got a second in the league at the moment. No, how did you think, Jason, in terms of team selection, adapting during the game, system, and stuff like that from last night?
I mean, I can't knock him for the last 120 minutes of management he's done since probably more than 120 minutes actually, but a match and a half of management, he has been absolutely spot on. He got it right, as I said to you before. There are issues with why we're not starting these football matches the way we're finishing them. Yeah. They've clearly worked on something, in my opinion, and they came out with the right ambition from minute one. And in my opinion, we could be putting teams to bed by half time and comfortably seeing out matches if we're scoring more goals. And we probably could have gone in 2-0 with the clearance off the line. So it's got to be a 9 for Jason last night. Off the back of a very good second half on Saturday. And I always wanted him to do well. I always wanted him to do well. Course, yeah. And he is showing some real qualities that I really didn't think he had. Even like the man management of Rico, he's impressing me at the moment.
Yeah, no, I think he made really good decisions, like you say, and it was really nice to, off the back of that second half performance, to take that into the first half. That's what we've all been crying out for. So deserves credit for that, obviously, as do the players. And I think I saw, obviously, we mentioned about Dom adding goals to his game. I think I saw a stat that we've had 11 goal scorers already this season. And that is so, when you haven't got someone who's potentially, we're not sure, but is known to be 20 plus goals, like you said, we need that. And 11 goal scorers already, that's really big as well. So really impressed, mate. What do you, like you say, mention a little bit about maybe Roro and things like that. Obviously it's difficult because we don't know behind the scenes in terms of fatigue and who's coming off the games. If Jack Stacey's available, we don't know. But knowing what the limited stuff we do know, what kind of changes or what would you like to see on the weekend?
So what I felt since Sheffield Wednesday is we've had more consistency and more of a settled side, and we've only had minimal changes, which I think we're seeing a benefit in our results and how we've sort of reached second position in the Championship. December is a busy period, and I would like to see that settled side with minimal changes. So I'd like to see Roro come in, and I think you make a good case for Danjuma, Stanislas or Brooks. I said Stanislas, but I can also see the Danjuma one as well. The Lerma and Lewis Cook for me is I just don't want to touch it. But I think it is a game where we probably could swap it. But I don't want to get into a habit where we're swapping 3 or 4 players, because I think that's where we were having problems at Cardiff and Sheffield Wednesday. So it's a really, JT's going to have a month now where it's going to really test him as a manager.
It's almost good problems to have, though, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? In a way, and I totally agree. I was saying this to someone last night. I think it's that balance is so key. So I thought I could see what he was doing when he was, like you said, before Cardiff, stuff like that with the rotation. But it was too many. You got to keep that continuity, and you don't want 5 or 6 changes from game to game. That's too much. And it's almost like you say, he seems like he's seen that. So yeah, a couple for me. Like I said, I'm not sure about Stacey, how big his knock was. I agree, potentially Roro and potentially Gosling for Lerma. If we're going to get away with it in a game, it's probably at Rotherham. But But yeah, we'll see. It'll be interesting. Give us a little prediction, because I'm sure Owen said 2-0.
No, he didn't. He said 2-1.
He said 2-1. Gutted.
Yeah, because Sam put it on the podcast, and I listened to it the other day, and he said 2-1. Because I thought you were right. He said 2-0. So he's not having that. I mean, if we're going to be a little bit cautious about Rotherham, so they're teetering on the edge of the relegation. They've the 2 out of 3 games they've won at home. Now, a little stat for you, which I don't know if we look too much into, but in their little run since October, they win every 3rd game. So when they lose 2 in a row, they win 1, and they've done that twice now. And they lost their 2nd match in a row last night. Yeah. So I still think we're comfortable and we'll be okay. Yeah. But I just thought I'd put that out there. So, but I think we win the game 3-0.
Interesting. Yeah. I think it's an interesting little start, that. But yeah, it'll be. I think it's one of them. If we get an early goal, start well, they're a type of team we could really put to the sword. You know, they're low on confidence, etc., etc. But it equally could be a game where we have to almost grind out a 1-0. They might sit really deep, make it difficult. Be interesting. But I think if we at the end of the day, if we perform like we did in the last 2, we're beating Rotherham comfortably. So be interested to see. Not sure if it was as good as your son, mate, but appreciate having you on. Always good to see you. So I don't know if we've got many Toveys left for the next one, to be honest. I'm running out. But I appreciate Kirk, top man, mate. And,
thanks for having me.
Welcome, mate, welcome. And yeah, it's all good at the moment, all good. And let's see, let us know in the comments, what do you think in terms of little changes? Do you think we can maybe unleash Roro from the start? And yeah, would you make too many changes, or would you try and just keep it as it is and see what happens? It's that case of now, do we try and get the job done and then take these players off rather than start them without them? But be interested to see. And only Norwich are above us at the moment in the league, and we did beat them. So that ugly 1-0 win against them looks better now than maybe we thought at the time. But yeah, cheers for watching. Appreciate all your comments on that below, and we'll see you again at the weekend for another win. I'm sure I'll try and get Owen back. I'll do my best, but he's a busy man at the moment, so he might be on Sky, but we'll see. Up, Cherries!